committing to our department, especially during these hard times. It means a lot. And thanks for feeding our family. And you're going to see some dogs over there, and we call them our lazy dogs because they truly are. So again, just thanks for the things that you guys do. And I appreciate that you guys have committed to staying part of Bulldog softball. So in Bulldog athletics, you guys mean a lot to us.
Well, thanks, Coach. I think I see a question in the chat. So if you do have questions, just literally write out question, and we'll rotate through everybody just with the larger group that we have here on Zoom. So we'll start off with one of our former softball players, Haley Janzer.
Hey guys, I'm actually at dinner with the fam right now. We wanted to hop on and show support for the current Bulldogs and for Coach Garza. I actually did have a question though. Wondering either for Coach Cox or Coach Garza, has there been anything that positive that has come out of this 9 months of crazy 2020? Have you learned more about the team, or looking forward to different things into 2021?
I would say for sure one thing that this pandemic has taught us is patience, and being able to really lean on family, friends, and just making sure that tight-knit circle is what we want. Our players have had a really tough time during this, and they've done everything they can to lean on, again, their family and friends during this pandemic. And if I would say the one thing you can look forward to is we are so eager to get out there. It has been 10 months since we have been out. We were in Seattle, heading on our way to Boise to start conference. And a lot of high schools have even had time to train, a lot of travel ball. I think there's only 3 programs in the country that never had an opportunity to get out this fall. And so we're gonna really take advantage of this, and I can't wait to get out there. I just hope that we can obviously get through the holidays, stay safe, but we are gonna do everything we can. But we love what we've been able to do. We Zoom all the time. We try to FaceTime all of our players. And it's been tough. I'd be lying to you, but I think it's been tough for you guys as viewers as well, and your own families. So just remember, we're dealing with it too. And I hope that we all come out of this okay and safe.
Well, great. Thanks, Coach. We've got some questions that we'll ask you as well. And the first one of those is, tell us how your coaching career started and how it led you to become the head coach of your hometown team.
Whew. I'm one of the Bulldogs. I would say I was born and raised a Bulldog, and I'm the one who got away. And I'm just, it was one of those experiences. So I grew up here in Fresno. I went to Hoover High School. So all of those Hoover High Pates out there, I give a lot of props to us. And so I went to the rival UNLV. I know we don't like to talk about it a lot, and good thing my background's not up. You guys don't have to see my jersey. So I went to UNLV and got into coaching right away. And my first job was at the University of Arkansas. And so I was there for a couple of years and actually played for a former Bulldog in Kerry Deaver, who was an All-American pitcher here. And so it was super cool to be able to play for a former Bulldog. And so I was there for 2 years, went over to University of Tulsa in Oklahoma, and was there for a season, and then switched on over and went over to Purdue. And a lot of you guys know Olympian Kim Marr, and was fortunate enough to play 4 years with Kim Marr and actually coach with her. And she taught me a lot, and we won a whole heck of a lot there in Purdue and Indiana. And I decided at that point it was time to venture off and do my own thing as a head softball coach. And so I left and went on over to, I think it's Wright State. So it was in Dayton, Ohio, and started my career as a head coach there. We were fortunate enough to win the Horizon League and got to the NCAA tournament, got sent to Michigan. And then I realized how bad I wanted to get back west. So I had an opportunity to make my way back. So I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, took an assistant position for a little bit just to get back my West Coast ties, went to UC Riverside as a head coach. Gosh, it feels like these are a whole lot of stops now that you made me list them all. And was able to take over a program there that hadn't been successful. Coach Cox and I took that program over. We spent 4 seasons, really built it and made a name for ourselves. And we were just fortunate enough that when Fresno State had an opening, that I was definitely blessed enough that it had some experiences that Fresno State felt that I was up and ready. And so taking it on, I absolutely love being in Fresno. I love Margie Wright Diamond. I love the rich history. I love the pressure. And it's just something that I look forward to every day. And as much as we don't get to do it, that's my kind of story. And I will tell anybody that's out there as a Valley player, As much as you want to play at Fresno State, we're going to do everything we can to get you there. But I just take a lot of great pride in just being a Valley native and being able to play the sport that we love. And I don't care where we play it. I just care that we go and get an education for it. So I'm super proud of all the Valley athletes out there.
Well, that's great. I see we have a question from Carissa. So we'll go to Carissa next.
Hi, okay. I'm Krista Hawkins. I play for Firecrackers here in town. And my question to your coaching staff was, what is the main things that you guys look for when you guys are recruiting girls?
Well, when we're just recruiting, we recruit athletes, Carissa. So if you're playing softball, I don't care whether you're a guy or a girl, you're an athlete, and we take a lot of pride in that. I like versatility. I like people who are fiery out there that are super competitive. They love playing. And obviously we love people who can hit, play defense. You can throw a little bit and miss a lot of barrels. That's super important to us, and you can get a lot of swing and misses. But to be honest is you got to be and help us win. And we really look for people that have good spirits, good teammates. We check you guys out, who's carrying their bag or whose parents carrying their bag. And we pay a lot of attention to those things. We want to see you fail. It's okay to fail. And I think you guys forget that failure is part of this sport. And we like to see how you guys respond to it, how resilient you are with fighting back and getting out of situations. So I hope that you're able to keep fighting through this pandemic and keep getting better. Maybe you guys can be a Bulldog one day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carissa. Coach, outside of coaching, what are some of your favorite hobbies and activities?
We got to keep it PC, and we got to not talk about happy hours and things like that, right? So,
well, I mean, if they're happening at Lazy Dog, I think that we can.
I take a lot of pride, honestly, in outdoor activities. I'm a huge country concert. I never grew up loving country, and I'm going to tell you, I don't know what the heck happened, but somehow country got into my blood early. I would say later in my coaching career, I go to a lot of country concerts. Coach Cox and I have been to a ton of concerts together. Even Coach Janzer, who's the head coach over at Fresno City College, has done a great job. So that's definitely something I do and I miss. Over COVID, I've signed up for a ton of online with my COVID circle. We do a ton of barbecues and get things going live. My neighbors probably hate me because the music gets really loud. I'm a lake person. I go on the lake a ton, especially this past summer. We have a pontoon, have a boat, and I get out there a lot. I love getting out to Shaver. I paddleboard a ton. I like the lakes and oceans. Outside of that, that's probably it. I'm outdoors. I grew up with quads and dirt bikes. And so I like to get dirty. You're not going to see me out at too many inside things. If I can be outside, I'm going to definitely get my butt outside and enjoy the pool.
That's great. Our next question is coming from Mike.
Hey, Coach, how are you? Question, it looks like you're going to probably have a pretty good sized roster this year. How are you going to manage that?
We're going to call you, Mike. It's going to be interesting. We're going to do, I don't know what it's going to be like. This is uncharted territory. So obviously we're going to rank our hitters like we've always done. So we have 23 of our 28 players are hitters. So we're going to have some work cut out for us. We have 6 pitchers. And we returned almost every senior from last year's roster. And we have every freshman that came in. So what I'd like to think of as is we're blessed in that knowing that COVID knocks out a lot of people every once in a while. Mike, I'm hoping that that depth of roster is actually going to keep us playing. And so we're going to take that as a plus right now. I think it's going to be difficult. I really do. I think it's going to be difficult. And we're going to do everything we can to be as fair as we can, but at the same time, pick a starting lineup that we think is going to give us the best opportunity to win.
Thanks, Mike. Coach, do we have an update from the Lazy Dog Kitchen of how dinner's going?
Ooh, I think we should ask. How's that Lazy Dog Kitchen going? I think you guys might have to unmute over there and figure out what do we got over there. We got.
Well, it looks like we've got some thumbs ups.
Here we go.
Okay. So we got some pretty good chicken. Some lemon chicken. We got some wings.
Black and blue burger.
We have a black and blue burger. We got a cordon bleu, some cauliflower mash, and some green beans. So we're good.
Delicious.
Y'all are
in
set.
the cups over there. Don't ask him what's in the cups, please.
I think there might be a frozen dinner or two too from Jolene's as well. So I just as that reminder, I think it's a good time to pull out your phones, and we're going to have a question coming up here pretty soon in the next few moments. So log into that app and pull up the doghouse function, which is on that left side. So they call it a hamburger, but it's really the 3 stripes up in the top left. And then if you scroll all the way down, play along doghouse, and for me right now, it's saying starting soon just a little bit, but I think we're going to have our first trivia question come up.
So I'm gonna push that first trivia question out to everybody. If you have not registered, please raise your hand real quick so we can make sure that you get a chance to register. Before we push that out, everybody that registers tonight, we can see that your name and make sure you have a chance to win a prize. If you're not registered, we can't do that for you. So
yeah, and if
give
you
you
need a
another
little more
minute.
time,
Steven, can you say that again?
So there's the Fresno State Athletics app. There's a doghouse feature, and you need to sign up for that play along doghouse. Probably we'll give folks a couple minutes still to register if you haven't already. But eventually you'll need to click that play along doghouse tab, and that first question will come out. We'll give it we'll give folks a couple minutes to do that. And then while we're doing that, I'll go back to Coach for one of our other questions is, what's the hardest part of being a college head coach?
Ooh, making sure that we take care of the young student athletes' lives we're responsible for. I believe every parent gives us an opportunity to help be a role model in their life. And, our job is to not only win ball games, but is it also to make sure that they earn their degree and they enjoy their experience and they become the best player and the person that they can become. And it's a lot of responsibility because it's hard. There's still only 3 of us coaches, and we're still responsible for winning games, but it's making sure that each athlete feels valued. And, we work hard to do it. But I'm super, super proud that's why I got in it. I absolutely love what I do. In fact, the other day, I just had an opportunity to see a Facebook post of one of my former players is a social worker down in Los Angeles. And she helped somebody who was homeless get their first home, and they did a feature on it. And those are the stories that honestly, they take precedent over the games and the championships. I just think there's something special about that.
So has everybody been able to register that wants to play along with our trivia game? If there's anybody still waiting on that, we can pause for a second. But I think it's time that Robert can push out that first question here coming up in just a few seconds. Okay, good luck, everybody. I think it has started. So no hints on anything, but the question is, what is the name of the diamond that Fresno State softball plays at? And we'll give it a couple seconds here. And that correct answer will come up. And we got 100% correct answers. That is great. So we do have a leaderboard. Kevin is leading the way so far. Probably got his answer in just a little bit quicker. So Kevin is rocking and rolling, but you can still jump in and participate as we have a few more questions coming up. Robert, you want to send the next question as well? This is a tougher question. How many different flavors of wings does Jolene's Wings offer?
And next is, can we get all those wings at to one of these houses over here? And you guys, a true taste test.
Yeah, and the winner of this trivia game is going to win some free swag. Okay, the correct answer, and time's up. The correct answer is 8. The most popular answer was 10, but it is 8. So we do have now a guest that's jumped into the lead at number 1. So we've got a secret guest that is leading our leaderboard.
Steven, real quick, that's my wife who couldn't figure out how to register. So somehow she figured out the answer and doesn't even know I didn't give it to her either.
Okay. Well, I mean, and there's three other guests as well. But if she got it rocking and rolling, that's 2,073 points. So let's do one more. Let's do one more. Oh, how many career wins does Coach Garza have at Fresno State?
How many more would we have had, Stephen? We were 21 and
I
4
know it would have
ranked in the country. Come on.
I know.
Coach Cox, how many wins do we got over here? Come on, let's start adding up our numbers.
I might not even get this one right.
I don't know.
So it does look like it's closed. It's done, Robert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 124. 124. So we probably at least gotten to 150.
Stephen, we're not supposed to get a trophy at 100 wins? I feel like you guys
I think you
Fresno B or anything. What's going on? I feel like that's a monumental win at some point.
I think you would have been on. You must have been on the road or something. That's great. So again, if you have any if you want to ask Coach a direct question, just literally write question into the chat, and we'll get to as many of those as possible. Before that, we'll ask you, Coach, again. What type of athlete do you prefer, multi-sport or single sport athletes?
I definitely think some multi-sport athletes, and that's not saying that you can't play a single sport and still make it. I just really like the variety that it provides in terms of, if your talent level is super talented in softball and you head over and you play soccer and you're not so talented, I think you learn how to play a different role and you get to understand it. And also I think you learn to play with different athleticism. And I just think that's super important with playing sports. And I don't think whether that's male or female, I just think we shouldn't be isolated. So I love the hitting classes and I love all of those little individual things that are out there, but I'm going to tell you, just get out there and play. And I think COVID has allowed us that opportunity to really just get out there and play catch with our dads and to get out of the technical stuff and just compete, because you know what, it's hard to grind as a Division I athlete. So you need to love it because in order to, when you love it, the work becomes part of the process that you really enjoy. So I play as many sports. Your next question might be, what sports did Coach Garza and Coach Cox play when we weren't playing softball? So you guys might be surprised.
What were those sports?
Coach Cox, what do we got over there?
Not very good at, but soccer and volleyball for me. Basketball, 7th grade, but I sat the bench. It was a good learning experience. Coach Garza, you are way better at me than basketball. I know that for sure.
Well, I definitely didn't get the centers to guard in basketball, I can tell you that. But I was a defensive specialist. There, I thought I was boxing out pretty well until they could reach over my head and still grab the ball. So I still played it, and I'll claim it. I started at soccer, got into softball, loved playing basketball, and played basketball and softball in high school.
And this might be one of the more challenging questions that you get tonight, but we have it in the chat as who is your favorite other sport head coach at Fresno State?
Oh man, I knew you guys are going to throw in some kinks in the chain. It really depends. I got Coach Fleck over there. I know that swimming coach is out there, and if I didn't put her number one, she's the veteran of the crew. We look to her to give us a ton of advice, and then we got Eric over at equestrian. We got Natalie. I have to go name them all. I'm going to tell you, during COVID, this Bulldog athletic department has done one heck of a job of making sure that this family stayed strong. And that goes from our support staff all the way down to all of our coaches. They've done an amazing job. And so I'd be lying if I said I just have one favorite. I'm just glad that I'm able to talk to a lot of great people and lean on them. But Gene, if I had to pick today, I'm picking you because you're on here.
That's great. We do have another, I think you answered it a little bit in there, but just overall, what's it like to coach at Fresno State?
Ton of pressure. and you better be built for it, because you guys as fans are tough, man. I don't care if that football team was in COVID. You just expect them to beat teams every day, and so I love that, though. That's why I'm here. It's a lot of fun. You guys make it fun. The rich history that's here, and in walking into Margie Wright Diamond and being able to see it. I grew up going and watching the old Diamond and being able to see 1,500 people at that little place. Sometimes I still drive by just by the dorms just to remind myself that this is where it started. And I may not have been a Bulldog as a player, but I grew up watching it. So I have much respect for the people that are in the stands. And I don't think that everyone really understands the pressure that comes with winning 35, 40 ball games a year. It's not easy, and it's us baseball that have this rich tradition that is expected, and to get to the College World Series. But I'm gonna tell you, we have a ton of fun trying to figure it out, and I'm just blessed to be able to be here, and I'm gonna work my butt off to stay here as long as I can.
Carissa had a follow-up, and that was, what are your expectations of your players during the off season?
During COVID, they've super been limited. I mean, it's what they've been able to get their hands on. So like you guys, hopefully they've been able to work out and do some things to the best of their ability. But traditionally, if we weren't in a pandemic, they have a packet that they're given in the summer, and hopefully they can get out to the gym and fulfill it. And then we just make sure that they come back at a fitness level. Their biggest time where they need to train is in the month of December before we come back. We just can't take too many steps backwards. We only have 4 weeks before we come back in January. So I would definitely say is to the gym about 3 times a week, and to try to find a way to hit or play some ball 3 times a week. And it doesn't have to be games, but it definitely needs to be training.
I do see we have a question from Zachary Frazier, which I think it's Zachary's daughters.
Hi, yeah. So we had a question on how important are grades for high school players when you're recruiting them?
Great question. That's what I think we always lose sight of. Grades are important. It's been tough, for especially, I'm sure as you guys have been online and you guys have been staring at this computer. This is probably the most fun you've had staring at a Zoom that you've had in a long time. You need to take care of school. It's important. It allows you to play at a competitive level. It allows you to be where you want to be. When you can't take care of school, Coach Cox and myself, you get a lot of study hall hours, and it's like sitting in a room and paying attention and reading your books when you can be out with your friends and being and doing things. But I would say for you guys right now, school's super important. Try to do the free things. If somebody tells you to read, you got to go read it. And if someone tells you got an assignment due, you need to go do the assignment, and you need to do the little things, because it's no different than playing a game. You got to do the little things before you can go hit a home run.
Thanks, Coach. Robert, you ready for our next trivia question? If everybody's still logged into that app?
Yep, ready when you.
Yep, let's go. Okay, in what year did Coach Garza take over as head coach of the Bulldogs softball team?
And on this question, Coach Garza, do you recognize any of those other dates and the importance behind them?
Say it again, Robert.
Do you recognize the importance of the dates that are associated with this question?
Whew.
The answer was 2017. I'm happy I got that one right. But 2009,
You're gonna have to help me out.
2013, and 2019.
2009 and 2013 were different years based off of your biography on GoBulldogs.com that you took over head coaching opportunities with other programs.
That's right. Look at you throwing facts out there. I love it.
Okay, Robert, you ready for the next one? In what year did the softball team first play at Margie Wright Diamond? And it was called, at that time, it was called Bulldog Diamond, but it's Margie Wright Diamond. Let's see. Okay, I think time's up, and the correct answer was 1996. 2 years before the national championship in 1998. Okay, Robert, one more, and then we'll get to a few more other questions. The Bulldogs softball team had a team best 26 steals on, this Bulldog had a team best 26 steals on 28 attempts during the 2020 season. Who is she? She's in the image above that you can see her sliding into one of her record-setting steals. And 73% got it right with Mackenzie Wilson. Mackenzie Wilson. She would have had a few more than 26, Coach, last year.
I think we would have gotten past that 50 mark.
Probably would have gotten to that 50 mark.
And she's going to go down in the record book. And she got an extra 20-something games as long as we get 56 this year.
That would be great. That would be great.
I hope she can break Haley Janzer's record over there. Coach Janzer, what kind of records do we have over in that household that we got to get through? I like the rivalry between Haley and a few of these players.
Hey, can I respond to that real quick? If she can beat my hit by pitch record, then I'll be really impressed.
There's only Caitlin Jennings.
It's real.
There's only Caitlin Jennings that will touch that.
Okay. I believe Maya had a question that was, what's your favorite part about being a head coach? You might have touched on that a little bit, but if there's anything else you want to expand on that.
Oh man, I just love being a coach. There's just seeing young women being able to accomplish their goals or chasing something pretty incredible it's just neat. I get a lot of joy in it, and I hope that they do obviously as well. But one thing that I absolutely love in coaching is just helping build that gap between growing up in high school and that young adult. You're getting ready to be out in the real world in about 4 years. And I think you still get to have a tad bit of fun in those college years. So I really take pride in that. Hopefully they're up and they're ready by the time they're 22 years old.
We have another question. Besides athleticism and academics wise, what do you look for in a player?
Obviously with academics and the things and the athletic ability, I want a fighter. I look at parents. I'm going to be honest. I look at parents because, the apples don't fall far from the tree in terms of, where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do. Because, you're recruiting a family and they're the ones that are going to be there through thick and thin. And when things aren't going well, they're going to go home and they need to have that support on both sides. So I think that's a really big extra benefit that all of us are trying to make sure that we find. And I would encourage everybody to just, really ask the right questions, and the right questions are what are important to you. For us here at Fresno State, winning a lot of softball games is a lot, and that's super important to us. We want to win a conference championship. We want to compete at one of the highest levels that we can. Some people want to play right away. Some people want to play a specific position. Some people want to get away, and I think you have to answer and figure out what's important to you and work and pick your place after that. And I think sometimes we lose sight in that recruiting process. We get stuck on a name or we get stuck on a school. And I think sometimes we have to really take a peek at what our really goals are in life and this experience and just make sure they line up.
And then I think Haley had another question, but this one was coming from Sadie and Quinn. Haley, you want to ask that question for him?
Gosh, Steve, I feel like I'm like hogging the time right now.
No, you're good.
I should have worn more makeup. My goodness. They were wondering, Coach Garza, what you asked Santa for Christmas.
Oh, man, I'll make it. I want this pandemic to go away. I feel like everyone benefits from that, right? Everybody benefits.
Can we ask for a conference championship?
Duh.
And see a tournament appearance?
Yeah, I would say I want to win. I want to get out there so bad. I hate to be superficial, but I definitely want to win. I hope Santa can figure out how to come down my chimney. So if Quinn and Sadie can help make sure that he gets here, I feel like he skips my tree a few times. I just think that the older we get and you guys as parents realize that the tree has less presents in boxes for you and more presents in boxes for everybody else. But I'm going to tell you, I want a championship and I want this to go away. I think we're tired of it and we're going to do everything we can to fight through these holiday seasons and hopefully keep everybody safe. I think it's real out there and I just think we need to be careful, and I want this community to respect that we're doing everything we can as a department to get out there, and anything that we can do and to make this place safe, it allows us to get out there and play on the field. And that goes for high school, junior college. I know Coach Janzer is the head coach over at Fresno City College, and she's done an amazing job over there, but we all want to get out there and play, including the high school players. So I'm wishing that Santa, I want him to wear his mask and I need him to stay 6 feet away too. So we can tell those kids that if Santa doesn't come, it's because of the pandemic.
And as we're talking about the pandemic, your take on how you think the pandemic and everything that we're living through is affecting future players, whether that's high school or youth growing up, but how do you think this whole new world is affecting everybody?
I'll talk about it from my perspective, and I don't want to put any of these, but we got some 2 Bulldogs on the spot. You see Danielle East down at the bottom in my screen. You see Haley Dulcini, a pitcher for us. They hate it. I know they hate it, and they're going to keep fighting through it. So I'd love to get their perspective as well. But I'm going to tell you, for us, we do everything we can within the limitations that we're able to do. So I really believe that Fresno State, for us, has tried to keep our health and safety at the forefront of everybody here. And as much as that's difficult for us to swallow, we're athletes, we're competitors, we want to be out there. But I also think we need to think about the big picture right now. And so when you think about the big picture, I want these players safe. There's more to life than softball. And I know they may not think about it right now, but there is. And I think they've had some opportunities and moments to be with their families that they maybe never would have. And their parents have got to see them as adults, and they got to see them in a different light. And it's pretty neat. And I think even for us as coaches, we've been forced to have some work-life balance that we haven't always had. And so I'm going to say, I think we're doing the best job that we can under the circumstances. There is no blueprint for a pandemic. We've never lived it. And I've never been through it, and either has our leadership. So we're doing the best we can. And we're just going to hopefully cross our fingers that everything works out for us.
Great. Robert, you want to go with, let's go with another trivia question.
Sounds good. We've got 4 left for the night.
Okay, we'll do
3
2
after
here.
this one.
Yeah, we'll do 2 here, and then we'll save the other 2. Lazy Dog introduced retro TV dinners this summer. Which of the following is not a TV dinner from Lazy Dog? Well, 60% saying fish and chips, but it's turkey dinner. So you can definitely get the chicken parmesan and fish and chips as part of Lazy Dog's brand new retro TV dinners.
Coach Garza has a couple grilled chicken, lime chicken, I believe, or lemon chicken, whatever her big meal was for the fam tonight. She had a couple of frozen TV dinners in there as well, which are fantastic if you have not had those. We are going to.
Oh, there they
Let's
are
do-
right there,
yeah, let's
guys.
do
It looks
another
like
check-in with
I hope
Lazy
I
Dog.
get a lemon chicken when I'm done, because it looks like everyone's leaving me hush puppies.
Here goes the next question, guys.
Before the 2020 season was cut short, what was the team's overall record? 19-6, 21-4, 23-2, or 25-0? So 73% got it right, and it is 21-4.
Woo!
21-4. I think we would have gotten at least to that 40 or 50 mark. Maybe
Gee.
40.
Hey, we got any questions for right here? We got Kylie on here. I mean, Kylie on here. We got Haley on here.
Yeah.
If you guys have any, I mean, we can
Yeah.
throw Danielle. Lisa, you moved around on me, Danny. So that was why I didn't see you again. Feel free.
Yeah. Kaylee, do you got any questions for
pretty
us?
cool.
Not yet. Okay. We do have one of the questions in the chat. Coach, an innovative new approach to softball, especially on the pro side. What do you think about the Athletes Unlimited that happened this summer?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it totally retrained my mind of being able to, like, every play mattered, every pitch mattered, every inning mattered, and it had a point scale to it. It was neat. I thought it valued everybody. I mean, you know, it gave people, like, if you were on a winning team, you gained points. If you played a role in something, you gained points. I think they did an amazing job. And honestly, it definitely gave softball some opportunity to be on TV during a pandemic. During that College World Series time was pretty neat. I enjoyed it. And I hope we can take some of that scoring system even into some practice things that we get to do come this spring.
Another question from the chat. We've touched a little bit on the off season, but is there a specific off season workout for young future softball players besides a hitting program that you think would really help their preparation at the college level?
I don't know, but Danielle East, I think, has been doing some CrossFit, and I feel like we've been sliding in. Haley Dolcini's been doing some not elliptical. She's been doing some bike and going into a gym and doing stuff as best they can. Is there anything you guys would say in terms of some training now that you guys have been in it that you think could be helpful for youthful softball players?
Is Haley gonna? Okay, I'll go.
Oh, go for it, Danny.
I didn't know if Haley was talking. I would say a lot of running, and just as much as you do hitting workouts, do pitching workouts the same if you're a pitcher, because they're both equally as important. So.
What about you, Haley?
Yeah, I think depending on the age of the athlete, I think when you start developing the strength program and just working on different exercises as in arm care, band work, I think it's never too young to start the band work. But I think those programs are equally important just to maintain your physical ability.
Thanks. We got another question from the chat from Carissa. Carissa, do you want to want to ask it yourself?
Yeah, of course. So, Coach Garza, what is like the most valuable or like important part of your program?
Ooh, they might not like it. I spend a lot of time on academics, and I'm not saying that that's like what they came here for. You can ask Danny or Haley. We spend a lot of time on it, but I would say we want to win. So we want to do things and really hit our spots. We want to make routine plays. We want to find ways to score first and stick to the fundamentals. But I would say our foundation is we want to stay a family. And Haley and Danny they know that our team has done an amazing job as being a united front and being a family through this pandemic. And just they have a lot of fun together. And we're not always around as coaches. You know, we're only around for practice. But, you know, before this pandemic, they spent a lot of time with one another. And I think that's important in college. You know, they need to spend time because at the end of the day, they're going to be running through a wall for each other. And I just think that's super important. And so when you have that bond and you have that relationship, you just don't want to let anybody down. And so as much as I would love them to play for the name that's across their chest, I want them to play for each other because they want to leave this place better than how they found it.
I don't know what the questions are for the last two questions for the trivia. We'll still wait a little bit before doing those. But one of the questions from the chat, I don't know if this is going to be one of the questions, but maybe it is. What position did you play when you were at UNLV?
I wish these short arms could say pitcher and my strides, but it doesn't work that way. I was a second baseman. I could, you know, let a ball kick off my chest and still pick it up and throw it over to one and do it in time. So I was fortunate enough. I played infield. I loved it. And I have a soft spot for the infield.
Great. And again,
You
if
guys
anybody-
don't let her fool you. She went to a number 3 school in the nation at the time. So she didn't just bounce balls off her chest. Coach Garza was a stud. And I'll leave that at that.
That's what stunted my growth, Coach Cox.
Now, you talked about really liking country music earlier, but what's your favorite game day music genre and why?
Haley Dolcini, let's tell them what it is. Let's just get right to it.
We always have to throw in a little country on game day. It has to be done.
Look at Danielle Lee. So when she puts a playlist, I'm like, Danielle Lee, there needs to be like 5 country songs. I don't care if it's every 5 songs, there's one, but you got to figure out how to get it in there.
Coach, who was your favorite athlete growing up?
Whew. Michael Jordan, the GOAT. I'm a Michael Jordan, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest. There weren't a lot of female athletes growing up that I had the pleasure of growing up. I would say Mia Hamm. I don't know if Coach Cox remembers Mia Hamm, but that was probably somebody that you remember, like that really got Nike going. But I think it's amazing that you guys have an opportunity to see people in a spotlight that look like you. So for sure, Michael Jordan. I don't know how many times I wore 23 on my shoes, and I would go out on that asphalt, and I swear I tried to do a fadeaway at 4:11 and make the last shot, counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know how many times I made it, but I definitely wanted to be like Mike, and that was the Gatorade commercial.
Maybe that's what I was missing in my basketball career, Coach Garza.
I missed this question from Randy earlier, but will more games be televised this year because fans are not currently allowed?
Steven, you know that question's just going right back.
I know.
I mean,
I
Mike,
knew
you gotta start writing a letter, Mike, over there, that you guys gotta start writing letters to this department and say that every single game this team plays has got to get on TV and in some capacity. So I'm going to challenge you, Steven.
I know we're gonna have to have those. We're already having the conversations, but it leads into Randy's follow-up question in the sense of when do you think the 2021 schedule will be announced?
We're still slated to go. We open up at UCLA, so we're still slated to get out there on February 11th, I think is the date, and we're going to do everything we can to keep that schedule. And once we're done with that weekend, we come back home and we have, I think the University of Oregon comes here and we play, Davis will come here. Then we think we host again. I think it's 2 back-to-back weekends. Then we go to Fullerton, which is our normal tournament. We come back one more time and then we play conference. So we're going to cross our fingers that we still get everything that's there. We know they might make some adjustments, but right now we're going to head over to UCLA and be able to open up.
And then, are there any changes to the how Mountain West play will be run, or is it pretty similar to past years? We've seen like with basketball where basketball's gone to not traveling to every single opponent, kind of like what is the situation for baseball and softball.
Great question. We're still going to play a 3-game series, and we're going to play 2 games on Saturday and 1 game on Sunday. So it'll be a doubleheader, whereas before we used to play a single game Friday, single game Saturday, single game Sunday. We're going to do those now over the weekend. So 2 Saturday, 1 on Sunday.
Got it. So that's a little bit of a throwback of, I remember we had some 6 and 8 o'clock doubleheaders. I think it was more like Friday, Saturdays, but
we got a ton of pitching. So I think it's gonna be where it's something that benefits us.
Yeah. Okay. One of the questions from the chat, what's your favorite sport besides softball?
Ooh. Any sport the Bulldogs are playing, so that's
okay.
I'm a football fan. I'm a die-hard football fan. I got 2 TVs. You guys can't see them, but there's 2 TVs in that living room, and that's new in COVID. And I've been dreaming of that setup. And if I can get one on the wall in my cabinet, I'll have 3.
Another question from the chat. We'll go with I'll skip down to this one, but who is your football team then?
I'm embarrassed. We're terrible right now. I am a Dallas Cowboy fan through and through. I know. Who's getting mad over there? They must be a 49er fan or something over there. I know, or a Redskin. But yeah, I'm a Cowboy fan, and I'm okay if we lose every game because that means we get the first round draft pick. That's my optimistic that I'm going to. My dad grew up in Texas, and so we grew up as kids always watching it, and we grew up in the 90s, always seeing them play. And I'm struggling every Sunday. I'm struggling.
I'll combine these two questions, but what's your game day ritual? And if there's a rain delay, what are you doing during that rain delay?
This teen's eating snacks. I don't know what we're going to do in rain delays now because we can't go anywhere and we got to stay 6 feet apart. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I would say my game day ritual. Oh, if we're winning and we're doing things, which obviously this past season we did a lot, I'm wearing the same shoes if I can. Every single game, I'll just polish those bad boys up. If there's a top on Friday that we traditionally wear, like I want to wear the same Friday top, I want to wear the same Saturday. And if we lose on the Saturday, I know I just have to change my Saturday top because that's probably the contributor. I try to wear the same hair ties. If I wear my earrings a certain way, like I'm super superstitious, and I don't want my players ever to know that because they're probably going to start paying attention to some of my habits. But if I have a certain clipboard or a pen, I want to use that same pen. Coach Cox, do you have any? I got to imagine you got some rituals over there in the pitching while calling pitches.
Nope. Pitchers, we're cool, calm, and collected, huh, ladies? It's definitely the pens. The blue pen one on Friday. It's going to be the blue pen on Saturday. And I'll even change them in between hitters, because if it's not working, change it up. Pants, hairstyle, a hat. I could go on, but I'm embarrassed, so we'll leave it at that.
Coach, what's been your favorite moment since being at Fresno State?
Oh man, when we beat Texas, that was pretty special, but we didn't do it in Fresno. So I would say 15-0 at home. No other program has ever done that. And, we were able to do that. We were undefeated at home. That was pretty remarkable. And a few seasons ago, Danny might remember, but I thought she threw a stellar when she got every out by strikeout when we were playing New Mexico. And that was incredible because I just had never seen something like that, just like in my life. And I don't know if I ever will. But Texas was that was special. That was special, hands down.
Any other updates from your circle or Lazy Dog Kitchen before we go to the last two questions? How it looks like everybody enjoyed the food.
I think they're getting lazy.
It looks like
that's equestrian coach Eric. We got I think that's Marino over there on the side, our former GA, and then we got in the kitchen. I don't know where the kitchen. We got kitchen people that have left. They're somewhere in there, but I think they're.
They definitely ate food though.
I think they're taking a nap.
Yeah. Okay. Robert, you ready for the last two questions?
Here we go.
True or false? Lazy Dog was first introduced in Fresno in 2018.
Buster hasn't been to Lazy Dog, so I got to figure this out. And I forgot to pick a Lazy Dog treat to bring that they could have dropped off.
The answer is true. It was 2018 that Lazy Dog made its way to Fresno. You got one more question for us, Robert? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Here it is.
In what year did the Dogs win the national championship in softball?
Too easy.
I think I said it earlier.
2021.
I like that sound, Coach Garza.
I wish that would have been an option. That's the one I would have picked.
That was a remarkable game. Honestly, that was a remarkable game. Like there's times I think it played back in the pandemic. I think it came on ESPN. one of those things. And
I think it was on the NCAA Twitter.
yeah, I just, God, man. In
And
fact, I
I
was just talking to Amanda Scott the other day when I was trying to get a hold of somebody else. And I'm going to tell you, man, those were some remarkable Bulldogs during that time. Laura Berg, you got Ram Pepperini when she was playing. And you can go down the list and it's just amazing. Like our athletes have some amazing shoes to fill. And I think every time we go and recruit, everybody wants to be a part of that storybook and wants to leave their mark. And I'm just telling you, like, it's tough to be a Bulldog because you got big, heavy shoes to come in with and try to be great at. But I think that's what makes this place so, so special.
That's great. And the 2008 nod is as a cross seeder over to baseball. And
we got another
underdogs
lazy dog. It looks like in the middle of the screen over here. I'm seeing another dog in the screen.
Oh, there we go.
You see?
There we go. We do have another lazy dog.
Looks like a Buster.
It does look like I think it's a Frenchie.
Mm.
Any other questions from anybody? You can put it in the chat.
There's a dog right there. Look at, we got one in the COVID circle.
We do.
Oh,
Robert,
is a little
there
Boston
anything
Terrier.
else?
There they go.
Anything on your end that you'd like to add before we sign off? I appreciate everybody taking the time to join us, and obviously our great partners with Lazy Dog and Jolene's, and the support of the Red Wave is so important for our program, and we are excited. I know I am, and speaking for Coach Garza, I know that she's excited for the upcoming season as well. But
It looks like we have somebody who put their own trivia question in there. George asked, Amanda Scott has a sister that won a national championship. Who was it and when and where? And it looks like Coach Cox answered that for everybody.
I just ruined it, guys. Sorry.
Now, let's add to it then. What year was that?
Jody, you should know that because that was your era.
I don't want to talk about it.
Cox,
2002.
if Coach Cox gets to talk about her chance at the Women's College World Series, she's going to have friends that she has as friends that were teammates that don't want to be her friends anymore.
I barely went to a wedding 20 years later because of a dropped ball.
But we're not bitter.
Another one from the coach. Another one of the last ones from the chat. What's your favorite place to visit playing softball or coaching softball?
Whew. One of my favorite places to play. Oh man, places to visit.
Obviously, besides Margie Wright Diamond.
Yeah, that's a total fair question.
Coach Garza, can I help you real quick? Puerto Vallarta, talk about that a little bit.
Oh, great one. Yeah, our not freshman, but our first year here at Fresno State, we had the opportunity to go to Mexico, and we were actually supposed to go this season. And so we went to Puerto Vallarta, and we went and played a lot of teams, but we went to this awesome hotel, and we got to walk to this field. And I'm gonna tell you guys, like it was not a great necessarily plain surface. They had some potholes and things. But they had these people that were there that just were softball fans. And it was remarkable to see the rich history of just softball and do it in another country. And the fans, which were the local community, would basically pick a team based on like either who said hi to them when they were walking into the stadium to go in the dugout, like the colors of like their jerseys, because they had no affiliate with who they were in. And I remember like people didn't like us. Like, I don't know why they didn't like us at times when we would play, and they would like, yell things, but it reminded us of playing at Bulldog Diamond, except the roles were reversed. It wasn't a Fresno State home, but I thought that was an incredible experience that we got to share. And I hope we get to kind of keep sharing those type of moments at Fresno State. But if I really had to go pick someone, I still like going and playing at UCLA. I hate UCLA. I always say it. I know Natalie Benson, our water polo coach, is a big UCLA Bruin, but I hate playing it. I hate UCLA and I hate playing them, but it's just a rivalry. If you were a Bulldog, you hate the games that we almost won, and how many national championships in that game came to UCLA. So there's still just a lot of rich tradition there that when you walk in there, you just see it. And it just makes you want to, that's the mecca of softball. And I think any program for all of us, we want to be a part of that championship tradition. And so Fresno State, just us and them are the ones that have the most NCAA appearances out there. It's UCLA and then it's us. And we just take great pride in that.
Great. And we've got a couple more minutes, but Danny or Haley, do you have anything you wanted to put your coach on the spot about? Any questions? Anything you wanted to ask?
This is your time. You can put me on the spot. Come on. I know you guys have things.
Gotta think. Danny, help me out.
How has it been for you? Hey, how has it been for you guys? Be honest. Like, what's it like, honestly, through this pandemic, just being a competitive student athlete? What would you say has been the hardest thing that you guys have had to go through during this time?
Everything. If we're being completely honest, I'm a very goal-oriented person, a to-do checklist where I'm like, oh, we've got weights in the morning, I got class, we have practice. So waking up and having no real agenda has been the biggest thing for me, but I think just finding ways to get through that by scheduling my times at the gym. I got into coaching over COVID, which I think kept me in the game and kept me mentally stable for the most part.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like the hardest thing has been we're in charge of creating our own schedules now because, like Haley said, we don't, nothing is mandatory. So we have to motivate ourselves to do everything, and majority of us are. So it's easy to do that. But yeah, I would say that that's been the hardest part, and having everything be closed, all the gyms and stuff. We've had to make our own weights. When all of this first started, we were using like water jugs for weights and like bunch of different things that are heavy to, make up for things that we don't have the access to. So that's definitely been a hard part.
Steven, we have another lazy dog. Kylie, can you show us your cutie? Oh, and Maya.
Maya's got Zoe. That's a mean pit.
We got a lot of lazy dogs in here.
And Robert has a lazy cutie. I can't call it a dog. That is the cutest thing ever.
That's definitely.
He had to make sure he got his FaceTime today on this call. He had to be a part of this.
Well, look at that face.
Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Another dog.
Oh, Danny.
Coach Cox, where's your pets?
I don't have a plant. Have a plant.
Oh, there we go. We got another one.
Coach, another one from the chat. Who's your favorite softball player of all time? I know that you shared that MJ is your favorite athlete of all time, but who's your favorite softball player of all time?
Oh man, I'm a big fan of Dot Richardson. When she used to play, she played so hard. She played middle infield, and she was spunky out there, and she played at UCLA, but I'm just going to tell you, when I watched that Olympic team, she was something special. I just felt like she was the pulse of that team. And I just wanted to emulate how she played the game with the amount of passion that she played with. She's an old timer, an old soul, and an incredible softball player. So I would say Dot Richardson.
Barbara's got a trivia question for you. What year was Fresno State softball's first appearance at the College World Series? Where was it located?
When Barbara was on it.
And how did they place?
Barbara, did you play second?
No, she was a pitcher.
A pitcher.
No.
Oh, it says
I think
position.
it was
I thought it said what place did they pit, place in it.
Yeah, not position.
Oh, sorry, Barb. I got defensive.
Barbara, tell us some history.
1982, Omaha, Nebraska, and we placed second to UCLA.
See why we hate the Bruins, Barbara?
Absolutely.
And they were cheating. I'm going to still say they were cheating. Barbara does an amazing job for our booster club. I think it's really neat. This has been tough even for our fans and our supporters, because we can't connect with them the way that we're used to. Not everybody of our supporters are on a computer or are comfortable being on a computer and don't even know what that's like. So I just, I wanted to make sure Barbara got connected in here. Hopefully she can share some of these things with people. But like I said, we're lucky. We're really lucky, and we can always do a better job. And I respect that rich history that's been here. So Barb, thanks for all the things you do for us, but more importantly, just thanks for being a good Bulldog, man.
Well, and I want to thank everybody for their time tonight, joining us and being part of this special event and really celebrating Bulldog softball and kind of just catching up. And it's been a fun one. We definitely want to thank our partners with Lazy Dog and Jolene's for what they're doing. And we will be doing a random draw off of all the attendees for the 3 $50 gift cards to Lazy Dog. So Robert will be reaching out to the winners on there, and we will be sharing who's winning on those things. So we really appreciate the time. Coach, any final thoughts, and as you look ahead into this 2021 season that may look a little bit different, not probably expecting that. I think it's unlikely that we'll be able to have fans at games this spring, and we will be doing our best efforts to bring as many of those games so that the Red Wave can watch it. But as you look ahead into this 2021 season, what are your big thoughts and of where they're at?
At the forefront is always to keep everybody safe and healthy. But knowing that's obviously at the forefront. I want us to continue our rich tradition. I want us to enjoy the experience. We've been so far apart for so long that I really believe that this is just going to strengthen our family and our values of the things that we're willing to work for and work hard. I'm excited to work through hard days because I miss hard days. And when I say hard days, just, these guys work hard, and I think now they realize like what softball really does. And it's always been a break. And when you don't get to do it, you realize like, holy crap, now we got a break. So I really, want to make sure and thank, Lazy Dog and Jolene's just for enabling us to share our program with some awesome, amazing people out there. And I appreciate that our program gets to be at the forefront of this right now. I think we take great pride in that Bulldog tradition. I'm proud of Bulldog Athletics. Our football team did an amazing job considering the circumstances, and I really appreciate that fight that they were able to do. They had 28 days to get ready for a football game with a new coach and to create offensive schemes. That's hard. That's not easy. And I appreciate it. Our basketball team's fighting really hard right now to get on that court and to be successful. Our women's team has been doing an amazing job. And I think we just learned as a Bulldog family that we're going to fight through this, and we're going to fight through it together. And when we get our opportunity, it's not going to matter who's on the field for us, even though we have 28 players. I know Danny and Haley are going to do everything they can to be on that field for us. But if something doesn't work out and we can't due to whatever's going on, we're going to keep fighting. And I'm going to ask that everybody out there, especially in this community or anybody, that you just got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting to be happy. You got to keep fighting to find the silver lining in every single day. This is going to be over at some point. And so when it's over, I want us to go and celebrate the hard work. But in the meantime, let's celebrate family. Let's celebrate things. One of my biggest quotes the other day is this Christmas season should be less about what's in the box and more about the gifts that we can give that don't come in boxes. And I just think if we can stay in that as the forefront, I think we're going to come out okay. And I hope that we can keep this community safe, and I hope that we can keep this country safe, because I think it's still a beautiful place, and it's a place I'm proud to be in. I'm proud to be a Bulldog, and I'm just excited about our future.
Well, thanks, Coach. And as George said, Merry Christmas and stay safe to everybody. I think that's a great note to end on. I usually would end by saying I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody at Margie Wright Diamond in just a couple months. But we will do everything that we can. So stay connected on social media and our website at gobulldogs.com as we really try to keep bringing this amazing softball program to the Red Wave. And we again appreciate all your time. Appreciate the time of Coach Garza and Coach Cox, Haley and Danny and everybody here. Robert did a great job coordinating this. So thank you again. It's always fitting to end any of our deals with just a go dog. So thanks, Coach, and thanks everybody.
Huge.
And enjoy these upcoming weeks and whichever bubbles you're able to suspend. But we really appreciate you and thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, you guys were awesome.
Go Dogs.
Thanks for having me. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.